thanks so much for joining me today. Today I have the pleasure of sharing with you the Simon Says Stamp Masterpieces collection. This collection just went live today, and I have the couple cards to share with you featuring the new products that are included in this collection. Now bear in mind that this collection is available in limited quantities, so once it's gone, it's not coming back, and you'll have to wait until the products are released later on in the year to be able to get them. However, the whole idea behind this Masterpieces collection is to have a whole variety of stamps and dies from some of your favorite companies that are not yet available to the public. So this is a really great collection. And I hope you'll head on over to Simon Says Stamp where you can get your collection as well. So let's get started and check out the card that I have for today. Here I've got the Lawn Fawn Jump for Joy stamp set. They're also coordinating dies, which I'll be using in my project. I absolutely love how cute this is. Of course, Lawn Fawn products are always so cute. I'm going to be lining these up into my Misty stamping tool because I want to do some stamping here to stamp them onto some watercolor paper. I'm going to be creating a watercolored scene using my Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers. And I'm going to stamp my images in some Simon Says Stamp Intense Black dye ink. This dye ink is perfect for watercoloring, Copic coloring, and other types of mediums. This ink will not smudge on any type of medium that you use. It's absolutely perfect for everything. So I'll go ahead and stamp those down and remove it from my Misty. Then I'm going to go ahead and start coloring these in with my Zig markers. I'm going to have all the color combinations over at my blog, so make sure you head on over there to check out which colors I've used for each image. As you can see, I'm coloring the little fox in with some orange colors, and I'm going to be working in layers so that way I can get some good depth with this coloring. So this is my first coat, and you'll see as I'm coloring all of the images that I'll go back over top of them. Now there's quite a bit of coloring involved in this video, so I'm going to let you watch the coloring, and then I will come back in a little bit when we go ahead to start the rest of the process. If you don't want to watch the coloring, feel free to fast forward to the time annotation that I've listed down below, and I'll see you in a little bit. our images, I'm taking the dies, these are the coordinating Jump for Joy dies. I'm going to go ahead and line these up over top of my stamped images. I'm going to be adhering them down with some painter's tape. I just cut them into little strips, that way it's nice and easy. And then I ran them through my Big Shot machine. And I'll go ahead and pop out these little images, and I love how adorable and how perfect these dies cut. Lawn Fawn is always so great for creating perfect dies and stamps, and I really love this set. This one's a really cute one. Next, I'm going to do some more die cutting with some grassy border dies from My Favorite Things. I'm also going to then die cut this piece, which is cut from watercolor paper, with the stitched rectangle die from Simon Says Stamp. I'm doing this because I use the stitched rectangle die for my background, so I'm going to be able to line this up onto my background so it's the perfect size and also has that nice stitching detail. I added a little bit of green to the grass to color this in. I'm using some olivey greens because of course I'm trying to create a fall scene here. I'm also going to die cut this little forest border die from Lawn Fawn, and I'll color this in with my Zig Clean color markers as well. I used a darker green than what I did for the grass, and then I'll also use some other greens to color in the trees. The background is created using some distress inks. I've got some mustard seed for my first layer of color. And then once I've blended that in, I'm going to take some wild honey and add some darker shading along the bottom portion, fading that up towards the top. I'm keeping the top area quite light. I'll add some water splatters using my distress sprayer to get some nice little variation to the background and also give it a little bit of texture. I let that sit for a few seconds and then I'll go ahead and dab it up with a rag, and I just love the reaction with distress inks that you can get. Now the Zig Clean color markers are also reactive with water as well, so you could even color the background with the Zig markers and then add the water splatters on top and get the same type of effect. To build my scene, I'm going to add the little forest border panel onto my card using some adhesive, and I'll just go ahead and lay that down. Next, I'm going to take the grassy border and I'm going to apply that on top of the forest border die using some foam tape. I want this to be popped up. I liked adding dimension to my scenes. It's something I really love to do. So I'm going to be using a lot of foam tape in the building of this scene. I'm going to add foam tape to the back side of the little leaf pile, and I also added little black and white details to the images. I used white details for the critters, and I also added some black lines to the leaves just to give them a little bit extra dimension and texture, but you could also have left them as they were. I'm popping the critters up with some foam tape on the top of their heads, but I'm using regular adhesive along the bottom, and this allows them to have only the top portion of their heads popped up and their bodies laid down flat to the card. The hedgehog is popped up all the way with foam tape, and I'm tucking the leaves behind him. I'll end up adding some liquid adhesive to the back side of those. So here you can see I've also colored in a couple of the other leaves, and I'm gluing those down as well with the liquid glue, just to add a little bit of extra interest, and I love that the color it adds to the scene. So it's time to create our sentiment banner, and I'm using some birch wood paper from ARC. I'm going to be die cutting this with the Simon Says Stamp Stitched Banners die. I actually die cut both ends of it. To do this, all I did was I ran it through my Big Shot machine first, like this, and I did partial die cutting and left that area along the left-hand side without any pressure on the plates. And then I turned it around and did the exact same thing. Basically, I'm not putting any pressure on the side where the banner is flat, straight edge. I want that to be continuous, so that way I have two fishtail banner ends on each side. Now for the sentiment, I just stamped that in some Simon Says Stamp Intense Black dye ink, and I'm fussy cutting this out using some fine tip scissors. I love doing this for my sentiments because it adds so much dimension to your cards. Once I fussy cut that out, I'm going to go ahead and adhere that down right onto my little banner using some liquid glue. I just ran a little bit of adhesive along the back side and then laid that down right on top of the banner. Now here I've got some Simon Says Stamp wood grain cardstock. I love the texture of this cardstock. You can see in the light how it catches the light, and you can see the dimension that it has. I'm going to be using this onto my card base. I'm also going to be adding a layer of Kona cardstock from Simon Says Stamp behind my little scene panel, and that's just going to give me a little bit of pop of brown to help give a little contrast to the scene and really allow the browns in the image to stand out. So I'll go ahead and trim this down using my tonic trimmer. I just added some pencil lines to know where I wanted to cut, and then I went ahead and trimmed it down with my trimmer. I'll go ahead and mount this behind my little scene panel here, and then I'll go ahead and add some fun foam behind that to pop it up off of my card. I just cut down a piece of fun foam, and I'm applying some adhesive along the back side of my cardstock, and then I'll go ahead and lay that fun foam right on top of there, and I'll add more adhesive to the back side of the fun foam and glue this down right on top of my card base. My card base is made from an A2 size card, and I actually attached that wood grain cardstock right on top of the card base. That way I didn't have to make a full card base out of that wood grain cardstock. I added my little banner along the bottom with some regular adhesive, and I tied a bit of hemp along the top. I also wanted to ground this hemp bow with a little bit of liquid glue just to make sure that it didn't untie and it stayed in the exact same place all the time. So I just pop a little bit of glue along the back side of it, and then I'll go ahead and lay that down. And to make sure it stays in place, I'll take a clear block and apply that right on top just to hold it down until the glue has a chance to dry. For a final finishing touch, I'm taking some glossy accents and applying it down onto the eyes and the nose of all the critters and also to the rake. And that really finishes off. So here's a look at a couple of the other cards I created using the Masterpieces collection. This one uses the Oh Happy Days stamp set from Simon Says Stamp, and I colored this with Copic markers. I also added a lot of shimmer and shine with Spectrum Noir sparkle pens. I love how the images are a variation of both outline and solid images, so you can kind of pick and choose which one you want to use. There's a variety of different sizes of flowers and leaves. Really, really cute, and I really love that starburst sentiment in the center. Now this stamp set from Alta New is the floral frame stamp set. I love how gorgeous this is. I added perfect pearls for the outline images, and then I colored them in with my Zig Clean color markers. This was a stunning effect. I absolutely loved how the combination of the perfect pearls and the Zig Clean color markers worked together. And then here's the stamp set. You can see the great images that you have in there, and I love the fonts on the sentiments. These are gorgeous. So I hope you've enjoyed this look at the Simon Says Stamp Masterpieces collection. If you are interested in these cards, please head on over to my blog where you can get more information on them, as well as still pictures and products used. And also there will be links to the Masterpieces box down in the video description and also on my blog. So make sure you head on over there to check that out. And also tomorrow is the Simon Says Stamp Masterpieces collection blog hop. I will have another video to share with you, plus more projects featuring the products that are included in the Masterpieces collection. And there will be a bunch of other designers hopping along with us, so make sure you come back and check that out. In the meantime, here's another video you might enjoy featuring Simon Says Stamp exclusive products. Please give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you can connect with me on social media at Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, as well as my blog. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you again soon.